work as well. And we're streaming out to 6 platforms at the moment, 3 LinkedIn platforms and 3 YouTube. So reaching a lot of people. So Joseph, do you want to share your screen there with us, and you can kick it off?
Okay, I can do that now. Screen
And we have Amy. Amy just joined us.
Hello, hello.
So Joseph
Good
is
evening.
just going to share his screen there with us. Okay, cool picture.
Yes, I'm sharing already. Confirm that you can. Just want to
Yep,
confirm. Yeah,
I can
cool.
see your screen. Yeah, I can see
So
your team.
hi, Ami. Okay. So good evening, everybody. That is, if you're on the same time zone with me, or afternoon, morning to those in different time zone at this time. So the conversation we are going to have today is going to be about giving users ability to be able to stream their meetings to other platforms. Let's say, for instance, you have a particular unit that should be able to stream their meetings. Let's say people in marketing departments should be able to stream their meetings to other platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, just name it. By default, it is not configured to be enabled. So you have to intentionally enable it. But while trying to enable it, you have to also be sure that you want to streamline it to people that you want to give access to do that, stream their meetings to other platforms. So this is actually something that I want us to understand the differences between settings and policy in terms of teams. So settings, it's an organization-wide kind of change, right? While policy can be segmented to a unit or a number of persons within the whole of Microsoft 365 tenants. So the one we are going to be looking at today is strictly going to be on policy, and that's going to be on meetings policy. So when you go to your admin.teams.microsoft.com, that is if you are a Teams administrator, then you would see something down here called meetings. So if you click down on meetings, you actually have a lot, right? You have the audio conferencing, meeting policy, customization policy. You have the meeting settings. So for meeting settings, would make an org-wide change to whatever you are making change to, right? So meeting settings is going to be specific to the entire organization. I mean, going to be holistic to the entire organization, right? In terms of whether you want to allow anonymous user to join your meetings, or maybe you want to, whatever settings you are doing here, go ahead to affect the whole organization. But where you want to target a certain segment of users within your tenant to be able to stream their Teams meetings to platforms, maybe for marketing purposes, you may want to come to meeting policies. So if you come to meeting policies, um, so for all the policies in Teams, there is one policy that cuts across all of them, and that is the global org-wide default policy. This policy is available in all the policies that are in the Microsoft Teams, right? But there are some. So how you know if the policy is inbuilt is, I mean, it's a default policy. Is one, you would see the custom policy will show no, right? So for example, let me just zoom in my screen a bit. So the org-wide defaults is showing no. So no means that this policy is a default policy. It came with a tenant. Another policy you will see under the meeting policy is the all on. You have the restricted anonymous, you have all off, and then you have restricted anonymous, no recording, and then you have kiosk. So these policies come by default with your Microsoft 365 environment. I mean, your Teams come with your Teams environment. Okay, so another thing to look out for is that you cannot delete a built-in policy. The delete option is grayed out, right? And then while you can edit the policy, you cannot rename this policy. So these are just things to look out for, right? Because the rename option here too, there is no option for that. So for custom policy, one thing to look out for is that you will see the word yes, yes. So yes means that these are policies that you created yourself as an administrator. So you can decide to delete those policies by coming here to delete. So if you come to edit also, you have the option um I think you could change the name, right? I discovered that you cannot change the name but add description. Maybe I didn't consider that before. So the policy is just there. But the good thing about it is that you can decide to delete it, right? But that's not the point that we are trying to look at today. For me, I have altered the global policy of my tenant because it's a test environment a lot. So if I open this, it's not going to be like the way it is because I could modify the global policy. I could not just delete it, right? So the same thing with the other policies that will I say follow come. You can't delete them, but you can modify them. Now, let's say you want to have in my instance, I have two users, right? That I want to, for example, allow to stream their meetings. So I can come to add. I think I've done enable stream. So I want to just name this policy. I want to name the policy Azure allow stream. All right. So Azure allow stream. So I just want to do it that way so that I can remember very well. And I've copied the name. So a lot is here. Private meeting schedule, if you want them to be able to schedule meetings, if you want the users to be able to use Meet Now, channel meeting, and all of the things that are here, right? You can actually modify a lot, toggle on, toggle off, whatever you want to, either toggle off or toggle on, right? So scrolling down is where I want our interest to be so that I don't drag the whole thing. So it's just hiding somewhere. And it's here just below. Where are you hiding? Live streaming. So live streaming by default is going to be on off states, right? So I have altered a lot of things, but if you check your tenants, you will discover that this is off for you. So you have to toggle this on. So here is where you get the info regarding this policy. Say when this is on, participant can stream Teams meetings. So that is on. Okay, so we're going to, and this is only one option here, ROTMP. So the next thing is you're going to save, but this time, the fact that you are saving the policy does not automatically grant the policy to anyone. So we're going to search for that policy. Oh, it's just up here. So the next thing you do is now to assign the policy to, you can now come here, click on, just select the circle behind the policy, and then go to manage user. So you can do bulk assignments, but the instance we want to show now is to assign it to specific users. So if you do that, what you do is to search for the users that you are targeting. Let's say you want to run a test. I just want to put it in my lab rats. I hope I have that guy here in this tenant. Yeah, I'm bringing up lab rats. Maybe I'm also bringing up lab guy. They are just two guys that I am marketing for me that I want to, or they are just specific people in marketing that I want them to be able to stream their meetings to the audience that we have on different social media, especially when we are having events that we want people to be aware of. So when we click on apply, so what this means is that the policy is going to be applied to the users, and then they should be able to stream their meetings now when they are setting up their meetings. So good thing about this is that if the policy is org wide and you have like a lot of users, it can take about 24 hours for the policy to apply, especially if you apply that policy from the GUI. But if you apply the policy from PowerShell, it can be faster, right? It may take maybe 2 hours minimum. But if you are assigning policy to individual, especially when there are just two or three, it could take effect immediately. So now what happens is that if you come to the user and you go to a scheduled meeting, let's say let's say you go to let's say you go to now. So what I observe is that the meetings that were existing before the policy is modified is not being carried along. Those meetings don't actually have the streaming feature in them. So you can just do a new meeting, and then you can call it test stream.
Just
Okay,
note that the
cool.
new
So the next
policy
thing,
you created is off. So check because I think you created a new policy, but the setting is off. So maybe activate it.
so this is the policy I created. So its custom is yes. So I've assigned it to, so if you view users, let's see, I've assigned it to two users, and which are these guys. So it's supposed to be
No,
active now.
the setting that you did, you said you turned it back to off. So just check that
Oh,
it's
I
on
did.
again.
Thank you. Let me
Okay,
check. I mean,
because then
yeah. So
your
where's that?
demo won't work. So
Okay, cool. Thank you. So yeah, I'll just check very quickly. Thank you, Ami. Oh, thank you. So I was supposed to turn this on. Thank
you
you very
see,
much, Ami.
it
Appreciate
wouldn't
it.
work. You
So I will just click on. Thank you very much. So yeah, so that is done. So what I was supposed to do was to come here, even though I'm not signed in as any of those users, right? So I may just invite anybody. Maybe let me just invite this guy. I think Steven is even in this thing, and so I will just invite Steven. Yeah. Okay. So after inviting that guy, I will send the invitation. Now that's done. So test streams. I'm just going to click on this. I think Stephen is even in this thing, and so I will just invite Stephen. So when I join this meeting, okay, so after inviting that, okay, so I think I should be back now. Test streams. I'm just going to click on this. I'm looking at the other screen.
I think somebody's got their mic hot.
Okay, so somebody's mic is probably on. I mean, speaker, right? So I'm connecting into the meeting now. Okay. So one thing I observed, I think I need to end. So Dan, maybe you have to comment on this. One thing I observe is that if you come to here and then apologies, if you come to add app and then you go to custom stream,
Yeah.
custom stream, just waiting for that.
Thanks, Stephen. Opiemi just made a comment. There we go. Hey, Baldwin, thanks. It's been a long time, my friend.
Okay, so I'm picking this up.
we go.
Okay, so apologies, that was just trying to process, taking too long. So custom stream, just going to click on save. Okay, so it's asking now for the stream URL and the stream key. So again, I know that I'm having some fluctuations in my connection. Hi, Frank.
No, you're okay. I can hear you perfect.
Okay, cool. So I'm just going to now. Where do we get the stream key and the URL? So we're just going to get in there now, and then I will do restream.io. Okay, so we'll come here to say new stream. I think that's still loading also. Okay. So we'll now use encoder RTMP. RTMP.
You're on mute there now, Joseph.
All right, thank you. So we've just been able to get the stream URL and the stream key. So we are going to copy them. Okay, so when we copy them, we bring them to Teams, and then we paste them. We paste that, and then we paste the key as well, right? So once we put these two, we can say start streaming, right? And that would take us straight to start streaming from here. I know that I'm having a bit of, connectivity issues. So here, once I click allow, I'll just click that irrespective, and that would stream this meeting. And then I'm going to now select the platform from Restream that I want to send looking for my. So that's still loading. So I'll go to channels, add channels. Sorry, I'm not going to do that. So if I already have the channels here, I'm just going to select those channels. So I have this my account. So with the subscription we have, we can go to as much as 8 different channels. So I can go available here on LinkedIn, right? Then I can also check other platforms where I want the meeting to be streamed to those different channels. So at any time I am through streaming to those channels, I can either end. I can just stop streaming from Microsoft Teams, or I can decide to toggle off each of those channels where I am streaming to. So for example, if I want to stop streaming to LinkedIn, to other channels, I'll just do them one after the other. So I can stop it fully from here. So that's where to start and stop streaming. Unfortunately, I didn't have a smooth ride. But really, you are going to either be able to toggle really the connection is did not allow those multiple streams from my end. But that's the stage which you stream your meetings to enable streaming for your users to be able to stream their meetings to different platforms. So unfortunately, we didn't have like a very smooth ride. But I think Dan is here on the call and is a pro in that area. You may want to shed light on some areas that are not very clear, and we can have that as a conversation. Thank you.
No, that was a great demo. It might just be that you were using all sorts of bandwidth for this, and then you're trying to use other bandwidth for Teams and Restream. So I'm not sure what all is going on there, but sometimes resources or when I've had issues, there's not necessarily like with StreamYard or Restream. It's much easier if you're using the web-based version to make sure it's using your camera, use virtual backgrounds, has your name, aggregates all the comments, but there's cost to both Restream and StreamYard, and I believe only Restream at this point has this ability for it to target the multiple platforms. So in a situation where you share the account with a team, which is both in StreamYard and Restream, you have the ability to have multiple hosts, if you will, or moderators that configure it. I believe, Joseph, what we found out with the event you did with Sina is that because Teams is sending to Restream and then Restream is sending to everybody else, I think what happens is Restream doesn't understand when the active speaker switches. And that's why Sina's video wasn't showing up. I think that's why. But
So she did not turn on our video. Sina didn't turn on our video. She only saw that screen. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that would be the other reason. I wasn't sure if her video was on or not, but I think when I looked at the maybe it was the analytics or something, it looked like it was coming out of like your Teams environment, not necessarily the Teams meeting, where it could differentiate everybody's voice. I think the transcript showed up as all you, even when she was speaking.
Oh.
So that's the only downside I found, but it still had the transcript, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the point of not streaming directly? Why would you use Teams? Do you want to get more people that will be in the meeting? Because the limitation?
That's the main reason.
Okay.
So you don't have the 10 or 8 guests limitation, and you can do other things with sharing or features of Teams. But then depending on where you're streaming to, there's no connectivity back to Teams. So if we're all in Teams, we have to use both Teams and LinkedIn and Facebook and all these other platforms to watch for comments, or I don't think you can display comments easily like Frank's been doing.
Now I have a question. Teresa also blogged on it or made a video, but she mentioned if you want to add a connection to LinkedIn, you can only do it 15 minutes before the meeting starts. Is this applicable to other things, or is it only for LinkedIn?
I think that was just a LinkedIn thing. You can go live 15 minutes early and 2 hours late.
Okay.
Sorry, Joseph.
I've not scheduled on Restream yet. I'm just going in like having an instant stream. So I've not really scheduled and then want to join later. I'll just do it like once. And I see that the bandwidth consumption from Restream is way, way lower than what we experience on StreamYard, right? Because on Restream, even with the slightest network connectivity, you can really reach out to a lot of people. And secondly, Ami, is that when you stream your Teams meeting, the audience do not get to see the people in the Teams meeting. They just see the full screen. So the participants don't actually show up on the other platform for people to know who are in those meetings internally. So that's one thing I also see.
When you share, or when, let's say, if you're not sharing, then would you see the people like we see it now? Or
so if you stream, the screen is just going to be the full screen of the speaker, right? If you are enabling your video, the speaker will be the only person showing. Then if you are sharing your screen and you are enabling your video, only the video and your screen. So the other right-hand side that will display the number of people in the meeting. The people in other platforms.
Sometimes it's either on the top or on the side.
Yeah, the people outside of the meeting don't see those ones also. Yeah. And also one of the reasons why we have to do that meeting in Teams is because we also wanted to record that and have our co-pilot do the summary of the meeting for the students to have like a note to work with. So that's why we also had to go through Teams and bring it on.
Joseph, have you tested the live stream from Teams? Live, there's a possibility to stream, well, not to stream, but just like there's types of meetings. So you can make a webinar, and you can make
live
also
events,
something that you send the link to many people, and I think it's called a live event I'm
Yeah,
not
live
mistaken.
events. I've done that before, where you have to produce and then send live. Produce.
Yeah, you
send.
have like all kinds of.
Yeah, I know that.
Frank, did you see the link I sent you about the new interface of Copilot that is in the chat that will start?
I think I
Yeah.
saw it right before this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know when it's going to roll out, but there's going to be all kinds of change to the interface of the Copilot chat, and
Yeah, that'll be
it
interesting.
it will confuse again the users that are just learning, and then you need to change all of the material training that you prepared because changing, but it will give new functionalities.
Yeah, I think Microsoft are doing a lot of changes all at once, and people are not catching up as quick, you know? Like they changed from M365 to M365 Copilot. People are saying, "What's this like?" You know, I don't want to.
Even if you don't have a license, then it's called Copilot.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's a bit confusing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
So Dan, you were
It's,
going to share the stuff there about TikTok on Windows 10 and Windows 11.
Yeah, the LinkedIn was probably today as opposed to TikTok. Well, let's see if I can share my screen here.
Yeah, we have your screen
Excellent.
there now.
So one thing I noticed, I think they were advertising this pretty heavily when they introduced it, was that the Microsoft Store for apps had a LinkedIn app. So instead of acting and accessing your LinkedIn from a web page, you can actually open an app that you can install. What I found with this app after some troubleshooting, I think it was either under here or might have been further down, system requirements. So I was trying to test this on one of my Surface devices, and it didn't seem to be working. And the reason for that was it only works on Windows 10 or higher on architecture 32-bit or 64-bit, similar to the TikTok Live Studio, right, Frank? We talked about that and how I was potentially able to stream this over to TikTok. We might be able to RTMP over to TikTok once we have an account that has enough followers and they enable that feature. But these were features that I found within the LinkedIn app once I was back on a Windows 64-bit computer. And one thing that I noticed was this then becomes just another window or app, so I can switch between the LinkedIn app, my browser, StreamYard in a browser, Teams. I have WebEx running in the background, as well as Copilot. So instead of this just being a tab in a browser, it shows up as a full app. And Ami, to your point, if I go down to the Azure and AI Show messaging thread, I can open the Copilot information that you sent. And so anything that's external to LinkedIn, like StreamYard,
will open up in the browser.
Exactly. Yeah. So certain types of things can be self-contained, like watching videos or viewing your messages, seeing your notifications, those types of things. But anything that's actually a separate link or a separate application would then take you over to a browser window to see that content. The other thing I discovered fairly recently, and it's been more prevalent on the browser version than the mobile version, but it started showing up for me on the mobile version. If I go to my friend Jeremy Neal here, and I take a look at his profile, he does a voting every Saturday morning, our time in the United States. And I think he's in Central Time Zone, so same as I am, and it's usually around 8 or 9 that he starts his posts. Besides reposting with comments, which I can do to draw attention to his post, one thing that LinkedIn has started to do is they are now listing
you see per comment you see the amount of reactions or the
for yours.
The impression
I think
part,
it's just
the
yours.
comment,
yeah. You might see it probably on the web interface and not in the maybe in the app. This app, it's not.
Yeah, it started showing up in here and I think on the mobile device about a week ago. And then LinkedIn rolls out a lot of features. So I'm not sure if this is a feature that they're in the process of rolling out. Jeremy, when he does this, tags probably over 200, 150 to 200 professionals. And then with all of those people, he encourages them to go ahead and introduce themselves.
Dan, I think you see it only if it's your post. So can you look at the post that you did?
Yeah.
Instead of somebody else's, and then you might see it.
Yeah, understand. That impression is
only if you're the one. Okay.
So I can't see the others, and I can't see Jeremy's statistics about how many impressions his voting got, but I can see how many reactions and how many votes were made in the poll. He only gets the details there. But with a comment, you can now get your impressions, and this would also affect your profile information from a standpoint of how many impressions you've had for the week. And something that goes viral or that doesn't have literally hundreds of comments might be more popular than something else.
So that means it is your own comments on someone else's post that you can see the impression. That's what it means, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not sure if they've rolled this out to everybody, and I'm not sure if they've rolled it out to everybody on the mobile app, but it started showing up for me on the mobile app like a week ago. And it showed up in the browser version and this version maybe a month ago.
Okay, so that means that the impression on this post is going to be counting for your own profile. Is that what it means?
Yep. So weekly, when I go to my profile and I look at my post impressions, that 136 or so is factoring in along with everything else that I've posted or everything else that's happened here on Saturday so far. And then this is an international calendar, so midnight over in Europe is when the clock goes to another day. So typically around 6 or 7 p.m. my time, I get another 24 hours. And it gives me the statistics for each day of the week. And then it's a typically rolling 7-day window, but you can change it to other impression windows. So I can do 365 days. I can do custom. So if I'm trying to figure out what I saw from folks viewing my content in January, I can get that information by doing a January 1st to January 31st type of range. I think that might be a premium feature, the custom filter, but I'm not 100% on that. So similar to this, Frank, to your point about the TikTok Live Studio, that is also an app that only runs on Windows, and it requires a 64-bit version of the operating system. So you have to get approved for this. I think Solomon was the one who let me know about this. And then when I realized you can't do this with a Mac computer, I figured, well, I've got a Windows computer at home. I'll just use this when I'm at home. And then when I'm in Seattle next week, not this coming week, but the following week for build, I'll likely bring the computer that can run the TikTok Live Studio as well. So that's it for me.
Okay, cool then. Emmy, did you go through that information that you shared with us about the new AI agents?
Which information? The new wave?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. I can bring it up here.
We can. There's a.
I'll put it up on the screen there, okay?
Yeah, you can put it on the screen.
You see that there?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Some things related to more security, but in general, the interface on the left will be changed, where you will have a search-driven, a powerful search, and you will have well, you can go through the things here, I think. Yeah.
Click on this one. So it's kind of more the security, you reckon, that they're focusing on, and the Copilot licensing, the agent life cycle, and metering controls. I presume that's kind of pay as you go, isn't it?
I think somebody was saying that it was free, but I'm not 100% whether that is free. I don't know if that page talks about how the licensing works for it.
Yeah, I pay as you go is more consumption. I think they provide most of the security reports part of the Copilot, unless it's a specific Copilot for security. But I think I also added another video there, where if you do it, I mean, you can skip, but there's a good. If you look at in the link, there's also a video link, I think, I added, where
this one here?
this one. Yeah, this one.
Okay.
So even if we don't see the sound, but you'll see here. So this is how it's going to look. You'll have the search, the chat, the agencies. You'll be able also to create all kind of graphics.
Yeah, it looks like they're talking about consumption here in that link towards the bottom.
And there's two new agents there, analyst and researchers. And there'll also be a notebook there, which should be similar to the Google Notebook LM. You'll also be able to go to a document and ask it to. It will make an audio summary of the document. Yeah, we don't hear the audio, Frank. If you have the possibility to share also the audio, then well, of course we can watch it by ourselves.
I think when you share the window, there's a system audio that you have to turn on.
I know
when you share
in
the
Teams
screen.
there's a thing like that. I don't know how it is with.
Yeah, it's there.
It's very
there
similar.
on. It's there on StreamYard as well. Frank, maybe you just want to share again and then put on your sound. Myself, I'm trying to open this link here. Man. Look at it. That's if it's one.
So were you saying to change the settings on the sound then, is it?
Yeah, when you go into the share
So
window,
when you click on
there's like a little checkbox.
share window,
Okay.
Present. Yeah.
Yeah.
Share slides in PDF or video file.
You can share like the window, but there's a checkbox in there to share system audio when you click on it.
Stop screen. Share screen. Okay.
it's just a toggle that you just need to toggle on.
Yeah.
Okay, so toggle also share audio, yeah?
Yep.
That's it.
Let's see.
Okay, we'll just try it there again. This one.
No, we don't hear the audio, but never mind. Yeah.
It might be like a split audio. Like, are you using a mic versus your system?
Yeah.
It might be confused about what the system audio should be coming from. Like sometimes if you had a headset, it's a little easier because it's the same audio source as opposed to different for the mic and different for the speakers.
Yeah, so we may have set that up some other time.
Yeah.
But I came across this slide here. It's on adoption.microsoft.com. So it kind of gives you the Microsoft 365 framework. So I'll just show a bit of that. So they're kind of showing how the user interfaces with the AI. This is kind of layout of the control system. So you see where the person kind of interacts with the co-pilot and all our agents then in the background. So that's the co-pilot control system. And here's our M365 co-pilot. So what it consists of, the framework there is the UI for AI. integrated into tools for millions of everyday uses, platform for agents and extendability, enterprise-grade security. I think you were talking about that there a while ago, Amy, with the new stuff. Privacy and compliance, flexible purchasing and deployment options, and measure AI impact on the value to your business. So there's the AI adoption curve. Then we're kind of talking about your access and budget constraints, whereas you're looking at your return of your investment. That's what the ROI stands for there. To realize really the value of AI to your business, really, and then governance there, like delivering secure and compliance while managing agents. Like you can't give everybody across your organization to be setting up agents whenever they want willy-nilly. So that's the governance side of things. So there we have the chat, which you can just pick up your phone and just go into the chat, powered by GPT-4.0 and grounded on the web. So that's your free one. That's the chat. That's where a lot of people are getting confused about. Like chat is the free one.
Right.
Yeah. And the agents, then this one in the middle, this one you have to have a license for it. It's Copilot Studio. And you can either have it integrated or you can pay as you go. And the other one in the IT controls, that's kind of enterprise data protection and management. So Copilot Chat, free secure AI chats. There's your license there then for your M365 Copilot, $30. That's a month, I presume. So you can have the Copilot in M365. It'll have Teams, Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. The agents then are separate, and the Copilot control systems and Copilot Analytics. So this is only new on the adoption.microsoft site. So these slides are all freely available on the internet, which is nice. So just to give you kind of an overview of that, it was kind of a bit late to start the whole thing. So there is 27 slides in total, and it's got notes at the bottom. So anybody want to pick these up, just go on to adoption.microsoft.com.
Yeah, they have that adoption.microsoft.com has become really, really important from a repository perspective for a lot of this. How do you plan for it? How do you roll it out? Lessons learned, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's really, really good. They have lots of slides on there, like in there. Super cool, colorful, lot of information in there. And even if you can see on my screen, it even gives kind of speakers notes down the bottom as well.
Right.
Tell you all about the different stuff, which is good. And in this particular package, there's 27 slides all about M365 Copilot. This is an interesting one here. You know, it's like the hyperscale curve. So it's going from deployment to usage at the bottom, the adoption, so the value here on the left, and then the time. So it's increasing all the time going forward. Here they have layout of the foundation of continuous learning and intelligence, progress of AI skills. So they're really giving a lot of information on it, really, aren't they? And it's not really complicated. It's straightforward. So you see down here, they say the Copilot dashboard powered by Microsoft Viva Insights provides analytics and data on usage, as well as impact reports. So it's kind of, you can see there where they measure all the amount of money that's been spent on it.
Okay.
And the skilling is then on the other end. So this is about the technical readiness. It includes things like securing your data infrastructure, risk management, and technical skilling, especially for customization and extensibility, best practices, and optimization assessments. Yeah. So here they're kind of telling you how to get ready, onboard and engage, deliver impact and extend and optimize. And there's lots of information below that. Perform Microsoft 365 Copilot optimization assessment, right? So it's kind of, we were talking there earlier about understanding licenses. So they've kind of got a section here on it about understanding current licenses, understand identity management, understand current collaboration tools, understand current data locations, uncover opportunities to implement data security measurements and improve data security posture to optimize users' experience. Just see if they give some more about the licenses. Identify new high-value scenarios, gather data from services, from health reviews. The other one, now to see if there's anything else about the licenses. Okay, so build your own agents, customize Microsoft Copilot. So maybe we might get more. These are kind of industry leaders that are actually using Copilot now. Like, so there's some of the good ones like Lumen Technologies there. They're the ones that do all the fiber optics for all the data centers. So they're the National Health Service in the UK, Vodafone, Gen. So that's just kind of an overview of the Microsoft Copilot framework. And yeah. So we have some other user that saying hi to us. Krishna. Hi, thanks for joining us.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So a lot covered there today. From agents to Teams to TikTok to LinkedIn.
Yeah, I think today is it's not amazing. And if there's one thing I would love, like I think I'm not becoming a fan of TikTok because before I used to say I don't want to be on TikTok. But I think Jerry and then Dan, because every time I just see Dan's notification, even when I'm in the bus, I just join. I think it's becoming fun now. I think TikTok is fun. Yeah, because at times you need that, those time of relaxation, just need to relax yourself, and you have a lot of things to do on TikTok. Yeah, it's fun.
I didn't see this in Teams, Frank, but somebody did a demo of this in the Azure portal yesterday for the Global Azure Day in Chicago. Many of those 3 days were either this week, prior to Friday, or today, I think, is the last day of the Global Azure 2025. So I sent a demo of Copilot in the admin center. And I guess we could ask, what is the licensing needed to use this? To use Security Essentials, you need home use, small business. There's some restrictions. So it does look like there's some information. And how do you turn on? Live streaming. I haven't tried this. But I wonder, even though it's not in Teams, I'm guessing that it probably has the ability to go find, go find where I need to go. This would be neat if it works. Yeah.
Policy, live stream mode. Yeah, that's it. Turn live stream mode policy on. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, cool.
Wow. So, which of the browsers do you use? That should be Edge, yeah?
Yeah, that's Edge.
Okay.
This computer, I think, just has Edge on it. This is dual boot between Windows 10 and Windows 11. So I've been doing a lot of tests on Windows 10 and Windows 11 on this computer, just because it's got a big enough hard drive and, it shipped with Windows 10. So I've been telling it, don't upgrade the Windows 10. And then I have dual boot when it starts up to choose whether I'm in Windows 10 or Windows 11, so I can test things and make sure things are working in both, or if there's any, quirks.
Okay, cool. So we're just gone over the hour and just going to end the live recording. And thank you everybody for joining us today on the Azure AI Show. And we'll be back here next week at the same time. Thank you.